had always known that my wife, Susan, was a gold digger. She had married me for my wealth and nothing else. Despite that, I had hoped that with time, she would fall in love with me for who I was, not for my money. Unfortunately, that never happened. I had suspected that Susan was having an affair for a while. She was always too busy to spend time with me, and whenever I tried to initiate intimacy, she would always find an excuse to avoid it. I had tried to confront her about it, but she always denied it and said that I was being paranoid. One day, I decided to hire a private investigator to follow Susan. The investigator soon confirmed my suspicions. Susan was having an affair with a young man who was half her age. I was heartbroken but not surprised. I had decided that it was time to take matters into my own hands. I hatched a plan to fake my own death. I knew that Susan would be devastated, but I hoped that it would be the wake-up call she needed to realize how much she had taken me for granted. I made sure to make Susan the fake nominee of my property and assets, so she wouldn't suspect anything. I disappeared for a few months, leaving behind a fake suicide note that suggested that I had taken my own life due to financial troubles. I watched from afar as Susan mourned my supposed death. She even seemed to be genuinely grieving, which made me feel guilty for what I had done. Eventually, I decided to put an end to my plan. I wanted to see how Susan would react when I showed up with a new girlfriend. I had met Maria, a kind and loving woman, during my time away. She had helped me cope with the pain of losing Susan and had shown me that there was life beyond my material possessions. I planned my grand return, and I could hardly contain my excitement. I arrived at my house when Susan was alone and rang the doorbell. When she opened the door, she was shocked to see me standing there, alive and well. I could see the look of disbelief on her face. "What are you doing here?" she asked, clearly shaken. "I'm back," I said, trying to sound nonchalant. "And I'd like you to meet someone." I stepped aside to reveal Maria, who had been waiting behind me. Susan's face turned pale, and she started to shake. "I don't understand," she said, looking at me with confusion. "I think you do," I replied, my tone now firm. "I knew about your affair, Susan. And I knew that you were only with me for my money. That's why I faked my death and left you everything. But now, I'm back, and I want you to know that I have moved on." Susan looked like she was about to cry. "I'm sorry, John," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I never meant to hurt you." "It's too late for apologies, Susan," I said, feeling my anger rise. "You had your chance, but you blew it. Maria and I are happy together now, and I don't want anything to do with you anymore." With that, Maria and I turned around and walked out of the house. I felt a sense of relief and closure wash over me as we left. It was time for me to move on and start a new life with someone who truly loved me for who I was, not for what I could give them.